Good morning, everyone. It's Sal Stretford. Both how you're doing, and welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. How you doing, guys? It's getting closer, isn't it? It's getting closer. Let me just turn this on. Yeah, it's getting closer, guys. It's getting closer. It is getting closer. We're getting close to Europa League final, guys, and lots of talk. Ruben Amorim has come out swinging. Ruben Amorim absolutely smashed the press conference yesterday. Not literally, but verbally. Absolutely brilliant from Ruben Amorim yesterday. Shut a lot of people up. He did shut. It absolutely was superb. The press conference yesterday was superb. We got some quotes coming out from the press conference. We've also got some news about some shock targets for Man United. Some forgotten men at Man United that Man United are targeting. Also, we got, more media nonsense from TalkSport and all these people trying to justify, the Glazers regime at Manchester United, trying to put a reasoning behind them and stuff like that, trying to make us, feel for them, feel sorry for them, etc., etc., etc. But that's not going to happen in this fan base. Absolutely not. We're never going to forgive the Glazers. The Glazers need to leave this football club. But guys, thank you for joining me. Before I start, please don't forget to smash a like on the video if you can. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you could be as kind if you're new. Thank you, everyone, for joining me, guys. Look, you know what? We're going to get straight into it in regards to Ruben Amorim's press conference. Ruben Amorim did come out swinging yesterday, and he did say about the Europa League, how important the Europa League is for Manchester United. We have to understand. We know how important it is for Man United to win the Europa League. It can make us break our history. I'm literally saying that. I'm literally saying this is our biggest game in years. I think this is bigger than the FA Cup. In May when we beat Manchester City, I really do think this is bigger than the FA Cup. I think that Man United do need to win this game for our future. And if Man United fail to win this game, you know what? There's going to be obviously a barrage of criticism, toxicity coming out of the club, coming out of the fan base, coming out of rivals, coming out of the media. You're going to see it. I mean, it already is there. It's already there. We're already in this cloud of negativity. So it would be really great if we can sign off this season with a trophy, Champions League qualification, put the season to bed, and we move on to next season and look at transfer targets. That's what we need to do, of course, guys. That is the most important thing what Man United need to do, and win this Europa League. Tottenham will be up for it. Kulusevski posted a picture on Twitter. He's injured. He won't be playing. Good news of Man United. News about Maddison won't be playing. Son is touch and go. Son might make it. But obviously the bad news about Man United not having Euro and De Ligt in training yesterday was very, very damning, in my opinion. I'm literally really concerned about having Lindelof and Maguire as our centre-back partnerships against Tottenham Hotspur. I'm also concerned about us getting any more injuries. We get any more injuries, guys, we are absolutely screwed. Absolutely. We are absolutely screwed. Especially in defense. Good morning, Baz. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Good morning, Sal. Let's go and we can do it. We can do it, guys. Absolutely. We could do this. Manchester United crazy journey to Europa League final 2025. Big up, big up. Morning, Sal. There is a choice where it says neither on the poll. No. You're going to have to guess. If you're put into a corner, Shah, you're going to be put into a corner. That is what you're going to have. That is what it is. Unfortunately, Shah, I can't have more options. They only give you 4 options. So I had to do that. We can do it. Absolutely. We can do it, man. We can do it. Kulusevski is injured and still got to get the job done. You know what? I would say about Kulusevski is that he's given us a few problems over the years. He's been quite a good player against Man United over the years. And to be honest with you, I'm glad he's not playing. I'm glad Maddison's not playing. So I failed to see where Tottenham's threat is going to come from. Yes, Tottenham are a little bit more physical than us, but I really don't see where the threat is going to come from Tottenham Hotspur. The only concern I have is ourselves, Man United and Lindelof and Maguire and things like that. You know what? I just really hope that Euro can make it. But unfortunately, this was the only game tomorrow that Euro can get fit. Euro can get match fit. There's a big difference between being fit and match fit, and we need Euro. We really do. In particular, if we get De Ligt comes through, that'd be great. If Dalot comes through, that'd be great. But I wouldn't pay a bunch of players that haven't played, who've been injured. So we're going to have to be very smart in regards to our team selection, because obviously match fitness is important as well. Ephraim, some people inside TV said he has to be sacked after the final. I don't know, mate. I don't know what he does on that channel, Ephraim. You shouldn't really tune into that rubbish, to be honest with you, because it is a propaganda channel, a channel that admires clicks and likes over anything else. Do you know what I mean? That's all they do, you know. For the sake of Saeed, I think people need to leave his channel so he doesn't get any more money, so he doesn't buy any more burgers. That's all I would say about that, because at the end of the day, all he cares about is this sensationalist. Let's get the manager out. Let's get him out. Let's get him out. Bugger, bugger, bugger. Let's get him out. You know what I mean? And I'm fed up with it. I'm tired of it. Thick as chips. Thick as ever. That's what they are. Thick fucks at the end of the day, in every sense of the word. And I will say that, you know, in all due respect. Good morning, Chow. How you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Onana lost all European final. This is the position I'm worried about for the game. I'm worried about a lot of positions. I'm worried about Lindelof. I'm worried about Maguire. I'm worried about the striker. I'm worried about a lot of things, of course. But if we don't sleep at night, Chow, and we think about Tottenham, you know, what's the point? You know what I mean? We got to wake up. Come on, guys.
Do you know Tottenham? What? Tottenham Hotspur?
Topspur?
No.
What's that?
you never heard of them?
No.
There you go. There you go.
Do you know
Cheer up, while you still have teeth. Smile while you still have teeth. We still got a chance, guys. We're not lost this game. It is Hotspur. We're playing whoever they are. They're Bodo Glimt in disguise. We just need to worry about ourselves. Don't worry about what's going to happen, because you can't change it. What's going to happen? Anana's played in the Champions League final. We did all right and stuff like that. So what we have to do is just concentrate on what we do. I'm concerned about players as well. I've told you at the beginning of the show, but what can we do about it? What can we do about it? We can't do nothing about it. So we just have to carry on and move. Sal, do you think there would be a takeover battle in relation to Joe Glazer and Jen Ratcliffe? Possible they could fall out. And Joe Glazer wants that. I don't think he would have a takeover. I think he'd be too hated. He's too hated at the moment. If Joe Glazer tries to fight for this football club, you know, in regards to the Glazers staying and Jim Ratcliffe taking over, it could be a possibility. But I firmly believe there's more chance in Qatar taking over than Jim Ratcliffe buying the full club. I'll tell you right now. I don't think that Jim Ratcliffe is going to buy the full club. I just got this feeling that he won't. I felt all the lies that was splurred over before the buyout was pathetic, you know. I mean, and there you go. The amount of people Saeed collaborates with is insane, but the program, his opinions are dead and a low IQ knowledge. At the end of the day, these people, let me tell you, these people were given a platform from someone else. They didn't build their platform. The platform was given to them by Mark Goldbridge, right? They're not good at anything else. And they have built this platform in a way that is like, you know, they've always done the same thing. Let's blame Ten Hag. Let's blame Ruben Amorim. When do you ever hear them say, R.I.P. Bobby Charlton, R.I.P. Dennis Law? When do you ever hear them talking about the Glazers? They don't. They don't care. They don't care about the football club. All they care about is their platforms and just getting loads of clicks. That's all they care about. We have to win. No excuses. We have to try. Would you go strong on Friday's game against Chelsea? Mix, Chow. I'm going to give you my team lineup on Chatterbox later on. I will go mix. I wouldn't go fully youth, but I would try and see what I can do. Morning, brother. I hope you're doing well. Please, everyone, can smash a like. Thank you so much, Grayo. You absolute legend. Thank you for your kind generosity, my friend. Morning, legend. Big up. Good morning, everyone, of course. Ineos will have a 4-0-26. Absolute bullshit. I mean, goodness me. I mean, that was what they're clinging on to, those Ineos inners. They were clinging on to, he's gonna buy the club. Don't worry, in 2026, he's gonna buy the club. Where are those people now talking all that nonsense? Where are all those people now talking all that trash? You know what I mean? Where are they? You know, because he was never gonna buy the full club. Absolute, rubbish. That was absolute, crazy, isn't it? Really, anyone who thought that, absolutely. Respect to Ruben Amorim, absolutely. Let me get through a few Ruben Amorim's quotes from yesterday, guys. Let me just read some of these quotes out real quickly. Amorim said, as a player, I played in a final, I lost. They never say I was a cup finalist. You have to win, man, no matter what, or the feeling will be, what a waste of time. My message to the players is win or else. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Win or else. Who cares about anything else? It doesn't matter. Absolutely agree with that. That is what it's all about. No one remembers the finalists. No one cares. All it is about Man United winning that final. That's all we care about. And that should be the primary focus. We've got the experience. We've got winners in our team. Tottenham haven't got any winners in their team. We need to go all out for it, of course. Shah, there are still a few people that think Ineos will get full ownership. Shadim couldn't afford to buy the whole club. Why? If they're going to buy the full club, why are they making cutbacks? Why can't they afford to bring the staff to the Europa League final? Why is Ruben Amram and 30 other paying for 30 people to go to the final? You know, they have not got any money. It's a lie. They manipulated people. Unfortunately, the weak of them, they fell for it, unfortunately. And that's what they did because he played on the heartstrings, mate born and bred, all that rubbish, all that malarkey. That's what he did. Sad as it is. What a coach. Now, I hope he succeeds. Absolutely. Brilliant. Brilliant. A couple of more quotes coming out from Ruben Amram. He spoke about Jose Mourinho. He said, I don't speak with him. Again, it would be massive for us to win something and give something to the fans. That is what it's all about, guys. We deserve this final. We deserve a win. It's not just about Champions League qualification. It is about ending this season, this terrible season, with a win. It's not important if I follow Jose Mourinho or another manager. The most important thing is how this title could help us get back to the top. Fast. Absolutely. This is what it's all about. As I've always said, that, you know, trophies trigger success. They could trigger something that can be a foundation for the future. This is why I'm saying that the Europa League is so important. We win the Europa League, it could create an environment. I know that in the past we've won trophies. It hasn't worked. But you know what? Things are looking different with Ruben Amram. I do believe that. And even if we win the Europa League, you know, a lot of those players hopefully will be leaving, and hopefully a lot of players will be coming in. And Ruben Amram said it himself. It's going to, you know what, it's pivotal for Man United's future in regards to the transfer market as well, that we win this Europa League. Shah, I've always heard about difficult decisions FC. At Amram Football Club, I'm here. Ruben Amram also said, in regards to the Amram on Spurs, a Premier League side going into the final, he said, it's going to be different. We are prepared for that. And the final is completely different. The context is different. This team has proven already that in the final, they can step up. Yeah, this team has. I mean, it was an FA Cup final with Eric Ten Hag, of course. We remember it very well with obviously Manchester City game. Man United absolutely dominated Man City that game. I mean, and what did Man United do in that game? They played a false nine. I remember it. And I felt it was one of the best performances of the season in the final. It was brilliant. And Man United were 2-0 up in no time. What Man United need to do, they need to shock Tottenham. You know, I am a little bit concerned about Rasmus Højlund. I'll be honest with you. I am a little bit concerned about him playing up front against Tottenham. I don't think he's going to cause Tottenham any problems. You know, so I would maybe play an extra midfielder in there just to try and nullify Tottenham in some aspect and just try and move the game forward. You know what I mean? And counter-attack when we can. And nick a goal when we can. And then obviously it will be in our hands. I do believe that the first goal in this game is absolutely important. And I feel like if we get it, then yeah, it's going to be an advantage for whoever gets it, of course. In regards to the game tomorrow against Chelsea, I will be talking about that on Chatterbox. What can I be honest with you guys? I don't really care about it. I'll be honest, I don't care about Chelsea. I just want this season to end. I want this season to be over. We all know what's going on this season in the league. I just want this season to be over. But obviously, we have to play the game and tomorrow, and it is what it is at the end of the day. What a coach, I hope he succeeds. Amram and the people want him sacked. People are done with, I mean, honest to God. I mean, I'm tired of talking about explaining to people, you know, like, you know what I mean? A lot of these people, they wouldn't have platforms if YouTube didn't exist. They'll be working in Tesco because they're so bloody, you know what I mean? It's mad at the end of the day. And then people want him sacked. It's madness, absolutely. Give Amram unlimited transfer budget. He can't do that, unfortunately, down to the Glazers. Do you think Ten Hag deserves a medal, sir, after all he won the FA Cup last season to get us in the position? I think every single manager I think Louis van Gaal deserves a medal. I think every manager that has worked under the Glazers deserves a medal because they were managing with two hands behind their back. You know, and people don't understand that. This is the overriding thing. People just look at the manager. They just look at the one figure there. They don't look at the foundations, what's going on above. Oh, the manager. He's the forefront, the manager. And the manager yesterday shut a lot of people up in regards to what he said. And the great thing about Ruben Amorim, he takes responsibility. He takes accountability himself. He doesn't need no fools telling him, no, you know what, this and that about the birds and the bees and stuff. I swear if we had McTominay as a shadow forward, yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, what I would say about McTominay's not going to get us any further, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, he's playing in Napoli. Napoli's a completely different league. I'm very close to Italian football. It's very different. A lot of time on the ball. You know, it would have been better to have McTominay there. It would have been great. Unfortunately, not. They took the money, you know what I mean? And yeah, it was never good enough. But you know, a lot of those players are not good enough. You know, he wouldn't have been the first player I would have sold, to be honest with you. And those players need to show up for the final. You know, at the end of the day, it's enough to talk, and now it's time to walk the walk. No points, Sal. Forget them. I've blocked the word Amorim out, so I'm right until Europa. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Look, you know what? We can't change what they say. We can't change what people say. We can't change what their motives are. Unfortunately, people have their own motives. People have their own narratives. People won't change their opinions because they've already jumped in headfirst with this Ruben out nonsense. You know, and I just believe that, you know, people are just more interested in the ego rather than what is actually best for this football club. In my humblest of opinions, I wish them the best of luck. But you know what? I'd be supporting my football team because that's what I do. I'm not going to be planting seeds of Amorim out, even if it is. I'm starting to doubt him, you know, things like that. I'm not going to be planting those seeds. I'm going to be supporting because at the end of the day, until the season is up, this week is extremely important. Let's stop moaning. Let's start getting behind Ruben Amorim. Let's start putting out positivity rather than negativity so that, you know what, you know, part of me feels like a lot of people just want to lose the Europa League final. It's sad, I know, and it's ridiculous. Ruben is our only and best manager we trust. Big up, big up. Ms. Sal, should players choose which game to turn on? We'll be pleased if all the old players are sacked or dismissed next season because they are spreading an awful disease to the new players. Afro Soup, you know what? If I speak, I'll be in trouble. But you're absolutely right, my friend. These players do pick and choose when they want to play. Is that Ruben Amorim's fault? No, because this has been going on since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Jose Mourinho, and Erik ten Hag. The same thing, this culture, exactly what I've been saying, the culture at the football club. If this culture doesn't change, Man United are not going to change. And regardless who takes charge of this football club, whether it is Luis Enrique or Nagelsmann or Hansi Flick, it's going to be the same thing, guys. It's going to be the same thing. Good thing about Ruben Amorim is that you can see openly that he's trying to change the culture at this football club, the culture that has been there for 13 years. It's not going to change overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. This mess that the Glazers have created is an absolute farce. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And, you know, it's going to take Ruben Amorim time to fix it. And we have to just get behind it rather than doing the same thing again and again and again. And then when we're doing the same things again and again, sacking a manager, have we improved? No, we haven't improved. And I said that about Erik ten Hag, you know what I mean? And I'm going to say this about Ruben Amorim. Sacking a manager is going to do more harm than good. Kenny, more like the invisible forward. How do we get a billionaire owner and a degrade? What's degrade? Degrade. Big up, Courtney. Morning, sir. Long time. Hope you're doing well, Courtney French. Good to see you. The legend, Courtney French, back in the stream. Hope you're good. Hope family are well. Hope you're doing well, my friend. And hopefully you're looking forward to the final. I mean, you know, this Chelsea game is stuck in the middle. It's stuck in the middle. The Chelsea game's stuck in the middle. And, you know, I just want to skip this Chelsea game. Part of me feels that I want this Chelsea game postponed. That's how I feel right now. Part of me feels like I don't really want this Chelsea game. I want this Chelsea game next week, some other week after next. That's what I want. You know what I mean? People who need to divert their anger, hate towards the Glazers. You know, it's absolutely. Ruben Amorim is trying his best with little tools. Breadstick in a sword fight, isn't it, Courtney French? And you're absolutely spot on. And it is insanity that some people are still, you know, turning the pot in regards to Ruben Amorim out. It's crazy, you know, and they're still doing it. And you know, I mean, you think some of them have intelligence, isn't it? You think some of them would know about previous managers and things like that. But no, we're gonna sympathize with the players again. We're gonna feel sorry for the players again who've been infected by this virus from the top. Yeah, you know I mean, that's what we're going to do, isn't it? That it's okay to down tool. It's okay to play when you want to play because you are you and you have your ego because, you know what I mean? This is what it is at the end of the day. This is what the problem is at Man United. Ridiculous. Good morning, Sanjay. Big up Courtney French, by the way. Good morning, Sanj. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Given the conditions, and he will do the job. I agree, Amir. Absolutely. Good afternoon, Sal. Big up, everyone. Big up, Pearl. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Grayo, 34 likes, guys. Please smash those buttons and get to 50 likes this morning. Thank you so much, Grayo. I hope you have a lovely day, my friend. Still believe in Amram, but not with the club owner. I mean, I gave up on a club owner a long time ago. I told these men, I told these women, I told everyone that if we sack Eric Ten Hag, things will not change. They might get worse, because the reason they'll get worse is not because of Ruben Amorim. The reason they get worse is because there's going to be a conveyor belt of players that have come from the Eric Ten Hag era. We still got players from the Louis van Gaal era 10 years ago. You know what I mean? This is why. This is what I'm saying. You know, so at the end of the day, I told these men, if Eric Ten Hag is sacked, it won't improve. Unless the new manager comes in, he's got a completely clean slate. He's allowed to remove 20 players and bring in his own players. It's not going to happen. Dylan, good morning, Sal chat. It would be great to dent Chelsea's top four hopes for returning Sancho if they do. I would love that, Dylan. For them not to qualify for the Champions League, I would absolutely love that. I don't want to see Jadon Sancho happy. I don't think Jadon Sancho can play today. I think he's cup-tied. And not cup-tied, but he's ineligible to play in this game. But yeah, I would absolutely adore that if that happened, Dylan. I would absolutely. And, we have to take this game tomorrow seriously. But the problem is if Man United get any injuries, then we're effed, to be honest with you, isn't it? Chelsea have got more incentive to fight in the league. They're still fighting for top four. They've got Nottingham Forest on the last game of the season as well. So, it's going to be a very difficult game for them in that game, because Nottingham Forest will probably be fighting for the top four as well. And so they'll be going 2 for now for this game against Man United. What Man United can do is Man United can just go relaxed and try and just win the game and try and get a draw or win the game. Let's see. In Amram we trust. I just heard someone that said Amram doesn't adapt yet. Euro joined the attack versus Bilbao. Second leg, his system is adaptable. There you go. You said it yourself there. You've answered the question there, Sharlam. You've answered the question. I mean, he changed the game. He won the game against Athletic Bilbao. He's the one who changed it. Everyone was saying, when he bought a Mason Mount and he bought on these players, right? Everyone was saying, why is he making that change? Why is he making that change? Look what happened. Look what happened. It changed. That's a genius. Given those of us who are smarter at watching football, those of us a little bit smarter, a little bit savvy with our brain, and when we watch football, can see if Ruben Amorim was backed, we would be cooking, right? And anyone can clip this, and I don't really care at the end of the day. We'll be cooking. At the end of the day, what these fans who want Ruben Amorim out expose to themselves is their lack of IQ, their lack of ball knowledge, their egotistical narrative that they won't change regardless. They won't look at the context behind things, which just says more about them than anything else. It says more about their life than anything else at the end of the day. And to be honest with you, it's a disgrace. Amir, we believe in you. Absolutely. Amorim can fix, rebuilds the team. Let's see. Same like me. Big up. Good morning. Draw at best at tomorrow's game. I mean, I would take that Triple M. I don't know about you. I would take a draw in tomorrow's game. Get out of that game unscathed. No injuries. That's the most important thing for me. I don't want any injuries. We've got enough injuries. Can you imagine we get an injury in defense or something like that? God forbid. We've already got Euro and De Ligt look unlikely to play in the final. They were not in training, which is obviously sad. I think that one of them might make the final on the bench, but I don't think that they're going to make it, unfortunately. Which is why tomorrow I'll be very wary about Mazraoui and Maguire, these players, and even Lindelof, because if one of those players get injured, you know what, we're in a road to nowhere on the final. We're not going to have a defense to pick from, are we? So, you know what I would say is that we have to be extremely careful tomorrow as well. Sancho is very not Mourinho style player. I'm stunned. He's proven. I mean, at the end of the day, what Jose Mourinho is looking at, Fenerbahce. He's a good enough player for Fenerbahce. He's a good player for Fenerbahce and in the Turkish league. So he's looking at that. My only thing is that how are Fenerbahce going to afford the wages? Man United are not going to sell Jadon Sancho for less than 25 million. So at the end of the day, how are they going to afford the wages for Jadon Sancho? This is what makes me feel it's unrealistic. I do feel it's a little bit, unrealistic here, because Jadon Sancho is, 350 grand a week. How are Fenerbahce going to afford this amount of money? And if you look at Fenerbahce and you look at Fenerbahce's history in regards to transfers and stuff, they don't spend much money, even on wages, on transfer fees. They don't spend much money. But I hope because it does give us an option in regards to Jadon Sancho. You know, I hope we can work out a deal, because I don't think that Jadon Sancho is going to play for Man United again. I really don't. Even if he comes back, I don't. I think he's burnt that bridge. Amram, king of comebacks. Didn't I love to see, but mostly, I mean, guys, look, when I look at things, I look at the Lyon game and I look at the Athletic Bilbao game. What are the parallels between those two games? Those two games remind me a lot of the Alex Ferguson days, where we were beaten, but we came back and we won that game. Those of you who don't see a skillful manager in that scenario, I've got something wrong up here. He made the changes to change the game in his favor. Do you know what I mean? And he did. And we won the game. And he's big. Ruben Amram is a big part of why we are in this final now. If we had Eric Ten Hag, we probably might not even been in the final now. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. You know? Shah, big up, Kenny. Plus, it would be Glinios money to sack him and all the staff to do this. People not understand that as well. I don't want to, I mean, at the end of the day, I wouldn't sack Ruben Amram. I'm tired of this sacking business. What I would do, I'd get rid of all those players. That's what I would do and start again. New leaf, start again. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, there would only be 8 or 9 players. I would keep in the whole squad. The rest of it, I would get in 10 new players for the squad. Absolutely. Good morning, Roy Michael. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. God bless you too, my friend. Hope you're good. We need 14.6 million and to not make us loss on Sancho, but I do not see us getting more than that. I don't see us getting more than that either, Shah, but his valuation is 25 million, 24, 25 million. That's what Man United were asking for. That's the agreement with Chelsea, was 25 million. So, you know, Man United, in regards to that, might not get that. But 14.6 million is all well and good, but who's going to pay the wages? Who's going to pay 300 grand a week? Know what I mean? Big up, everyone, big up. And that is the overriding thing, isn't it? That's the problem that we're having right now. Now, a little bit of news coming out of Man United. Callum Hudson-Odoi. Remember him? Manchester United have inquired about the possibility of signing Callum Hudson-Odoi. Look, you know what? When Callum Hudson-Odoi broke through at Chelsea all those years ago, I rated him as a player. I thought he was a very good player. I think he got a couple of England caps as well, didn't he? Very good player in regards to a seasoned pro in regards to the Premier League, a good Premier League player. But for me, it's a no. I do not want Callum Hudson-Odoi. Absolutely not. Semenyo, on the other hand, there is legs on this story in regards to Semenyo. Man United are very keen on Semenyo, are big fans of Semenyo. Of course, has done very well for Bournemouth. His price tag is around 35 million. It will go up to about 50, if we're being honest, million euros, maybe even more. I'm not too sure if he has a release clause, but I don't think he does. So it's going to be about 45 to 50 million euros, which is going to be a lot of money. Man United obviously were quoted at 60 to 70 million for Cunha, which I believe, as I said yesterday, is too much money for Cunha. That is way too much money for Cunha, in my opinion. Semenyo is a good player. Is he my choice, my first choice? No, but I don't see Man United getting more than one number 10. This is the thing. So, you know what? When we pick this number 10, it's going to have to be good. It's going to have to be good because we can't afford another one. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. But that is obviously a story coming out. Is it desperate or smart? You know what? I think Callum Hudson-Odoi would be desperate. I don't want Callum Hudson-Odoi at Man United. I don't think he has the mentality. I don't think he has the will to play for Man United in this toxic environment. Of course, we need winners. And to be honest with you, and Semenyo, I would prefer. Cunha, yeah. I mean, if it's between Semenyo and Cunha, I don't know. It is such a touch and go. You know what I mean? But, you know, you never know it's going to work, do you? Courtney, the transfer target that Ineos come up with, Amram has to choose out of options. Ineos are the only ones looking at cheaper options and the Premier League players. Absolutely. People don't understand, even if Ruben Amram leaves this football club, Ineos are going to be picking the transfers. So no matter which manager you bring into this football club, Ineos are going to be picking the transfers, not Ruben Amram, just to make that clear, right? So he might, the new manager or Ruben Amram might have a little say, but the Glazers and Ineos will be picking, in particular, Ineos will be picking the transfers that Man United sign. You know, I find it ridiculous, crazy, insane that we bring in Ruben Amram and, you know what, we don't back him with the players that fit his system. It's as simple as that. Insanity, crazy, ridiculous, incompetent, however you want to say it. It's ridiculous. What some top 6 whatever podcast and some City fans said that the players got Amram to the final. Look at Leon and then I decided to switch off. Man, this stupid, man. Honest to God. I mean, who made the changes against Bilbao? You know what I mean? Bilbao 4th in the league, in La Liga. You know what I mean? everyone was talking about Real Sociedad, how Real Sociedad are going to cook us, how Leon are going to cook us, how Athletic Bilbao are going to cook us. But we got through those games. And look, these guys just got an excuse for everything. They're flipping Muppets, mate. I wish they would get away from Man United, create their own little football team over there and do what they like. You know what I mean? Call it the Culture FC. Do you know what I mean? Just do what they like and go and build your own football team. Because at the end of the day, these people, so-called fans, are not wanted at the end of the day. No, we're not saying that Ruben Amorim is not exempt from criticism. Of course we're not. But at the end of the day, what we are saying is that you've got to give the bloody guy a fighting chance, for goodness sake. You know what I mean? Just like their bloody mama held them for 9 months. Their mama didn't give up on them. So why the hell are they giving up on Ruben Amorim now? Bloody disloyal idiots. Kenny, apparently I'm hearing Man United no longer interested in Jonathan David, so Delap it is. Yeah. I can see Jonathan David's going elsewhere. Rival fans wouldn't even know the crisis. They are dimensional football fans. Semenyo and Odoi. You would want Odoi immortal. Way. There you go. Each to their own. Ineos need to big up with a spending mix of raw talent that could be worked on by Ruben Amorim, as well as experienced players to have balance. This is what I've been saying, Courtney. I've been trying to explain this to people for a while now. It's not just about young players. Man United need experienced players. If you look at Alex Ferguson, when Alex Ferguson was at Man United, we signed a lot of strikers. Look at the connection. Look at the similarities between all the strikers he purchased at that time. They all were experienced. Apart from Rooney, you can count Rooney. They were experienced at scoring goals. Ruud van Nistelrooy, 23-24, scoring goals. You know what I mean? Mark Hughes, scoring goals. Do you know what I mean? Robin van Persie, scoring goals. Dimitar Berbatov, scoring goals. You know what I'm saying? Except for Rooney, who was a generational talent. And you know what Rooney did in the European Championships in 2004. Proven player, of course. So there you go. It was top six, so I thought I listened to it. I should never listen. I mean, I don't listen to them, man. People shouldn't. People should just turn them off. I don't know why you should just build. People should just build proper platforms, you know what I mean? And get us building rather than anything else. We need more experience. We already have so much young players. We have a great bunch of young players, Shah. We have a great bunch. We have Musa, Chido, Ibrahimov, Fletcher, Collier, Ahmad. I mean, we got Yoro. We got good young players, Dorgu. We got good young players. Now we need a bit of experience to complement those young players, I would say. I mean, it's ridiculous that we're not looking at them. We should go for Cliver. He can score more goals. Cliver, Immortal Warrior. Big up Immortal Warrior, by the way. Cliver has shocked me because Cliver obviously came to... he hasn't done as well as people thought he would do. He burst onto the scene. Obviously, his dad, Patrick Cliver, is a world-class player. One of my favourite strikers of all time was Patrick Cliver. And obviously, Clivert's son has done very well at Bournemouth. I think he has. Would I sign him? I don't know. It gives me a little bit of... what's his name? Spurs player, Spurs striker. What's his name, guys? What's his name? The guy, Solanke. It gives me Solanke vibes. That's what he does. It does give me that a little bit. Bournemouth is a different animal. Man United are a different animal. The pressure is astronomical, I would love if Man United signed an Osman or someone like that, or a Gutierrez or something like that. That would be lovely. Roy Michael. Sal, I watch your fantastic stream every day. I agree with your opinions. You talk so much sense, unlike these idiots wanting Ruben out. They are knuckle dragger. God bless you, everyone. Thank you so much, Roy. I really appreciate your support and really, really appreciate you. Guys, here we are real. We are real. You know what I mean? And we say what we think. We don't sugarcoat anything. I don't mind calling out channels because they'll never come on this channel because they'll get schooled. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And I don't call out people in regards to just because for the sake of it. I call out people because I know that they're a virus at the football club, just like the Glazers. Because what they do, don't think that Ruben Amorim doesn't have cousins, daughters, sons, family members looking at Twitter, looking at Instagram, and looking at various social media platforms. Don't think it doesn't affect things. It does. I've spoken to Rasmus on Instagram before. They're always online. Always online. And to be honest with you, it affects the football team. And I don't see the point. It's counterproductive to be attacking the football team now when we've got a massive game next week against Tottenham Hotspur. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Or Topspur, should I say. Courtney, We need top targets if we are to improve next season. Ineos want project players. We will be in the same situation next season. Courtney, if not, we might be even worse. You know what I mean? As I said, Man United need a spine. Man United need the Osimhen, a Gutierrez, and Ederson. You know what I mean? I think our defense is not too bad. I think Man United need a right wing back. I think that's it. But Man United definitely need another goalkeeper as well. And I think Man United need a spine to go through. And what does the spine need to be? The spine needs to be experienced. We need an experienced spine at Manchester United, you know, and we don't have that at the moment. It's the thing. We have an inexperienced left, right, and centre. We don't need any more young players, guys. We don't. We've got good young players. I'll give you an example, right? If Chido or Musa or Ibrahimov or Fletcher or Collier or Ahmad were playing for Ipswich right now, Ipswich, they'll be cooking. They'll be cooking for Ipswich because the pressure will be off. The shackles will be off at Ipswich. There's no expectation at Ipswich. We've got good young players. You know what I mean? I even think we got players as good, or if not better than Delap in our youth team. But they want to do what they want to do. They want to buy Delap. And if Delap comes to the football club, I'll be supporting the guy at 100%. Immortal, big up. Irfan, what's going on? I need a world-class number 9. We do. What would you take Douglas Luiz from Juve? Douglas Luiz for time at Juve hasn't worked out, but I don't think that's the worst choice in the world. Douglas Luiz was absolutely phenomenal at Aston Villa. He ended up going to Juventus for 50 million and it didn't do very well, unfortunately. Sometimes it just doesn't work out at certain places. Will he be my first choice? Absolutely not. Would I be down if I signed him? No, I think he's a very good player in my opinion. I think he's good. I still think he's got something to offer. So, yeah, like these type of players that, you know, would help Man United. They would help, you know what I mean? Bit of experience, you know what I mean? Strong character and stuff. Bring it back to Man United. But obviously it depends on how much money we get. Now, this is where Rasmus Højlund comes in. Can Man United strike a deal with Juventus for Douglas Luiz and Rasmus Højlund going the other way? Of course, it depends on FFP and PSR, of course. But we have to wait and see. We can obviously work these deals in our favour. We can work out swap deals. Of course, swap deals are notoriously difficult because obviously the agenda, the agents are involved. And each agent has their own agenda. And each agent wants their own money. So if Man United end up signing Douglas Luiz, maybe, just maybe, Man United can do swap deals with Juve. Juve are big fans of, obviously, Rasmus Højlund. So, you know what I mean? Maybe we can do something in regards to that. Hey, Jengas, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Hurty, online words can affect these players. Absolutely, Jenga. So this is what I'm saying. They do affect. I know that for a fact they affect. And it's just counterproductive for us to be attacking our team right now and the manager at a time when we got a Europa League final coming up literally in less than 7 days, guys. In a few days. Amram said, even last year with Ten Hag, there were some problems. But when we reached the final, they were there. You guys know that. These players know that in the final, they can step up. And why is that, guys? That is a quote from Ruben Amorim yesterday. Why do they only step up in finals and why can't they step up in any other game? It's up here. Culture at the football club. Culture at the football club is dead. You know what I mean? So don't be surprised if Man United turn up for the Europa League on fire. Guys, just like they did in the FA Cup final against Man City when everyone doubted us, guys. Everyone thought we were going to lose the FA Cup final. Everyone already signed a death warrant for the FA Cup final. But what happened? We won the game, didn't we? You know what I mean? Madness. And this is the problem with these players, the cultural problem. This is what I'm saying. And this cultural problem has been resonating for the last 13 years. This is why people keep blaming the manager. It just drives me mad, honestly. I take him Premier League proven experience. That is technically and South African fight, but not my first choice. Prefer Edison. I prefer Edison as well, Shah, but I wouldn't say no to him. It depends on Douglas Luiz. How maybe just maybe we can work out some sort of deal with Rasmus Højlund and see what happens in regards to that, guys. You know what I mean? And with Rasmus Højlund and Douglas Luiz. Of course, he's a good player. Yeah. Hasn't quite worked out for him. Delap, Cunha, and Buemo in Man United is so it would be amazing. It would be amazing, our fan, but Man United won't sign 2 number 10s. Man United might sign Delap and Cunha, and that's about it. But we all know Man United need that, fan. We need that. We need an Mbeumo, a Cunha, and a Delap. Of course we do. It's something that Sir Alex Ferguson would have done, fan. You know what I mean? In this day and age, you know? So I do believe we need that. We do need another midfielder as well. Obviously, it's up in the air what's going to happen with Casemiro in the summer. He's got 1 year left on his contract. Man United might cash in on Casemiro, of course. And you know what? We have obviously Eriksen's going to leave, Lindelof's leaving, Evans is leaving as well. There's going to be a number of players leaving, hopefully, and hopefully we can move on, you know what I mean, from these players that have been stinking the place out for many, many years, of course. Cengiz, Amram called this out early doors about players turning up for big teams, poor mentality of players. Exactly what I just said, Cengiz, absolutely. It's exactly the point I'm trying to make here, guys. These players will turn it on when they can. They play when they can. This is why I think it's stupid to be calling out Ruben Amorim, because these sort of things have been happening under Erik ten Hag, under anything. You can lead a cow to the water. It doesn't mean that they're going to drink from the water, guys. It's exactly what I've been saying for weeks. That is it at the end of the day. And if these players don't play, what can Ruben Amorim do? If they think, leave it, you know what I mean? I'm thinking about next week, you know, when I relax and go to a restaurant and things like that. This is what these players are, you know what I mean? Another quote coming out from Ruben Amorim. We have to perform in the future and this season. If not, they will change us. That is a normal thing. That was my feeling and still my feeling. Absolutely. He said about the Europa League. He said the Europa League is not good enough. You have that feeling here. So this is the best way to help us get to the top in a few years. It's the Champions League, not a title, not a cup. And that is correct from Ruben Amorim. Absolutely spot on. But the only way to get to this Champions League is via the cup. So obviously, we have to win this Europa League. This Europa League is more important than anything else right now. Man United winning this Europa League is more important right now. We are not doing anything in the league. So what we have to do is win this Europa League and we go to the Champions League. And as Ruben Amorim said, as we all said over the last few weeks, this Europa League can shape our future. It can mold our future. If Man United don't win the Europa League, Man United have no European football. Man United are going to go back years. I believe that. Shah, do you see the chance we could sell Bruno if we lose Europa League for money? I can see anything happening, Shah. I really can. And to be honest with you, I'll be honest, guys. As much as I like Bruno Fernandes, you know what? If we lose the Europa League final, I think it's time to cut ties with all these players. You know, have been there for years. You know, those players have been there for years. We've been failing. I think it's time to cut ties with them. Even if we like them, we have to cut ties and build a new team. Even if it's Mainu, even if it's Garnacho, even if it's Bruno, Erasmus, all these players there. If we lose the final against, let's face it, we're depleted as well. We got injuries as well, but it is a depleted Tottenham team, right? If we lose the final to Tottenham, which is not the hardest game in the world, by the way. I mean, I think Athletic Bilbao is a more difficult game. You know, I think that, you know what, this could be messy. This could get messy. And as Ruben Amorim said last week, we have to be brave. We have to remove players that, you know what, that we like, that we love, even him, you know. Ruben Amorim said, I think the Champions is more important for everything, for the preparing for next season. We are supposed to be in the Champions League. And this is it. This is why. What is a good season for Man United? Man United need a Euro title. Man United need to qualify for the Champions League. Of course, we would have loved to qualify for the Champions League via the Europa League, via the league. We can't do that. So right now, winning the Europa League is extremely important. I firmly believe titles are important. I think qualifying for the Champions League, winning the Europa League is a beautiful thing. I honestly think that. I think that'd be beautiful. I think that'd be good to end the season. And we can brush everything away and focus on the future and see what transfers we can get. And obviously, the Ineos are going to be on fraud watch. Of course they are. They're going to be on fraud watch. Do you know what I mean? And we're going to be watching them like a hawk. And I'll be here every day reporting the updates, of course, as we do. Absolutely. Ephraim, Sal, what do you think about going as about Bruno can only start for Tottenham? I think it's absolute nonsense. Ahmed can start for Tottenham. De Ligt can start for Tottenham. Yoro can start for Tottenham. Ugarte can start for Tottenham. If they look who they got in their midfield, for goodness sake, you know what I mean? Basuma and players like that. Ugarte can start for Tottenham. You know, it's just over sensationalized nonsense, mate. It's nonsense. Bruno can start for Tottenham, yeah. And it's over sensationalized nonsense. And I don't know what Gary Neville's talking about, to be honest with you. Talking absolute trash. If I'm being honest, guys, it really is. And you know what I mean? And not the first time, sorry. Sure, I think Bruno is going. The silence is telling. This is what I mentioned yesterday, Cengiz. The one thing about Cengiz, the one thing about Bruno Fernandes is that Bruno Fernandes is very outspoken. He speaks a lot. He speaks a lot to the media. And for him to be silent whilst these rumours going on is quite telling. It's damning. You know, it does mean that he's going to leave the club. And what do I think, guys? I don't really care. I'll be real, guys. I don't really care. Guys, Man United are not that team now at the moment, right? So moving players on, as long as they get replaced, as long as that money's reinvested in the team, I don't really care anymore. Because at the end of the day, these players have had their chance. And these players have failed at Man United. Yeah, you can say you had good moments, you've done good moments, but football's not decided on, moments every week, every other week. You know what I mean? Football's decided on the end of the season. You're top of the league, you're in the Champions League latter stages, stuff like that. That's what football's decided on. So all these players, none of these players are untouchable for me. You have your few young players, Yoro and that, who won't be going anywhere, of course. Dorgu won't be going anywhere. Mazrui won't be going anywhere. De Ligt won't be going anywhere. But there will be players who'll be leaving this football club. And you know what? I'm not going to be sitting here crying about it. I'll just say, well, at least, you know what I mean? These players were not just simply not good enough. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Light Switch FC on and off. Absolutely, Shah. Absolutely. We're slow and shit at selling players, as ever very evident for the last 12 years. So to sum it, it's more about absolutely. And Ruben Amram managed to get rid of 25 players at Sporting Lisbon whilst he was there. 25 players at Sporting Lisbon he managed to get rid of whilst he was there. Leyton through to the Championship final. Well done to Leyton Orient, by the way. Absolutely. My local club, Leyton Orient. Absolutely. Worked for Leyton Orient. Worked for the NHS at Leyton Orient as well. You know what I mean? And what I would say is that they might get to the champion. They might get to there'll be one below the Premier League, Leyton Orient. Now, in 2014, Leyton Orient were in a league promotional chase with Brentford. Brentford got lucky. Brentford had a few decisions go their way, and Brentford ended up going to the Championship and not Leyton Orient. Leyton Orient lost in the playoff final against Rotherham. So it ended up being Brentford going up, and Brentford ended up in the Premier League, as we all know. And that is how football can change, And big up former Manchester United player who was at the 1999 final, Richie Wellens. Big up Richie Wellens. Absolutely. Why are they so negative when we are the final so-called legend? Because it's clicks, it's likes, it's self-righteous. I know everything syndrome sort of thing. I was a European champion. I was a league champion many times. I know everything sort of arrogance. It's ego. That's what it is at the end of the day. Yes, they have some points in some things they say. Yeah, in regards to the league and stuff like that. We know that. But every single player that played under Alex Ferguson can thank their lucky stars, because you know what? They were lucky that they had a team around them to go into a winning team that they could just mold themselves into a team that included Gary Pallister, Steve Bruce, Andy Cole, Peter Schmeichel, Eric Cantona, Ryan Giggs. Do you know what I'm saying? Roy Keane. And they came into that team. So they need to thank their lucky stars that they were in that team in the first place. Those people are talking. Because I'm sure someone like Bruno would have thrived in that team in the 90s. You know what I mean? I'm sure someone like Bruno would have won a lot of league titles back then. Bruno is not a CR7 or Bruno. Nope. Spot on, Sal. Bruno could shut the speculation down with one sentence. Yeah, I love Man United. I'm not going anywhere. I see my future at Man United. He's just signed a contract. Which he has, isn't it? He could do that, but he won't do that. You know what I mean? That is exactly what you said, Jengas. Telling, Big up Sound Chat. I'm not sure about Semenyo. I feel we can use the money better. I do, Rich. Rich, what I would say, who would you go for, Rich? Who would be your ideal number 10 signing? Is it Cunha? Is it, Cherky? Who is it? I've got a thing for Cherky. Not Cherky as in beef Cherky, the footballer Cherky. I've got a thing for Cherky. I think he is going to be a magnificent player, and I think he's going to be generational. Played very well against Manchester United. If I was to choose a number 10 to play behind the striker, I would choose Cherky myself. But everyone has their own opinion. What would you choose? What players would you choose as the number 10 for Man United? If we were to choose one number 10, which number 10 would you choose for Man United? I've chosen Cherky. Who would you go for? Is it Cunha? Is it Trincao? Is it one of those players? Obviously, it does look like Liam Delap is pretty close. I wouldn't pick Liam Delap as my main striker. We need another striker with him, but who's experienced. But as a number 10, it will make a huge difference for our attack. And who would you go for? Who is better than Ahmad? You got to look at Ahmad. You got to look at the levels right now. Is he better than Garnacho? Is he better than Ahmad? Is he better than Bruno? You know what I mean? That's what we got to look at the end of the day. We can't just sign players if they're not better than what we currently have. Big up, Rich. What is the news about Qatar? Nothing solid, fan. The news about Qatar basically is that Sheikh Jassim Hamid, and it's been reported here in the Middle East, Sheikh Jassim Hamid has said that he still supports Man United, he still loves Man United, and he would still like to buy Man United fully one day if it becomes available. What Jim Ratcliffe said I think it was the day before yesterday, he said, well, you know what? If I didn't believe I was going to succeed, I will sell it to Qatar or something. So why did Jim Ratcliffe say that? Why would Jim Ratcliffe say that if he wasn't thinking about Qatar and selling the football club? Read between the lines, isn't it? It's reading between the lines, and it's saying that, you know what? Qatar is still lurking. That noise has never died down. Man United want a full sale. You know what I mean? Now, Man United want a full sale. And, you know, I'm tired of the Glazers since the Rock of Gibraltar. You know what I mean? I've been tired of the Glazers, you know, and we've been cursed to have them. We have. And people, I've heard some ridiculous arguments about the Glazers. I've heard it on Talk Sport and stuff like that. I've heard about, but you know what? They won trophies with Man United in the early day. When they came into Man United, they won the Champions League and they won the league and stuff like that. That Man United team that won the league and the Champions League in 2008 was started to be built in about 2003, right? Before the Glazers came in. Ronaldo arrived about 2003, wasn't it? Ruud van Nistelrooy, all these players that came into Manchester United, Stam, they came before, you know what I mean? And no, not Stam, sorry. Players like, obviously, Rooney, obviously, Ronaldo. You know, these players came before. Those were the basis of the team that was being built. Rio Ferdinand, you know, Gary Neville. You know, these players came before the Glazers. You know what I mean? That team was already there. Do you see Euro leaving in 3-4 years, Real Madrid, Ronaldo? I won't be shocked. What do I see, Shah? I don't count out anything when the Real Madrid come calling, but what I would say is that if Man United are not successful, any player can leave the football club. This is why I've been talking about just building a team based on young players. If you have 11 young players, right, and Man United don't win anything, which is highly likely, in 5 years' time, even no matter how good those young players are and how much they love Man United, they're going to say, look, I'm not winning anything at Man United. I'm going to leave Man United. So that's why you have to build a squad with experienced players, young players, and you know what? And that generally throughout history works. Alex Ferguson used to do the spine of the team. So Alex Ferguson used to bring in Berbatov or Robin van Persie or Mark Hughes or, you know, these Louis Saha, you know, I mean, these type of players who were experienced, you know, Eric Cantona, experienced. You know, I mean, even Ruud van Nistelrooy was experienced, scoring 30 out of 30 goals in Holland and things like that. Do you know what I mean? What Man United need to do, if they're going to do a young thing, they're going to get loads of young players. They have to make sure they have experience in that team. They really do. Do you rate Semenyo so high? I rate him. Is he the best? Is he my favorite? No. Would I cry if we got Semenyo? No. I think he's proven in the Premier League. That's a good thing. I think that is a really good thing at the end of the day. I like Semenyo. I think he's a good player, but I don't think that he's going to. I mean, right now, you can't predict what's going to happen in the future. As I said, you know, you can't paint everyone with the same brush because at the end of the day, someone might come into Man United and it clicks. It's their home, you know, the one they've been looking for, and you know, and it just starts to work. You know, Alex Ferguson used to be the master of that. You know, bringing in players that click, it works. Carrick, players like that. Do you know what I mean? Who a lot of people said, why are we signing Michael Carrick? I remember back in the time when we signed Michael Carrick, people were like, why are we signing Michael Carrick? And then we all saw why. Jengus, Red Devil, I'm not overly convinced about Semenyo. I heard that he's terrible shot conversion rate. But what do I know? I'm not actually what Semenyo. I think he's a dangerous player, Jengus. I think he's dangerous. But again, we have to look at it like this. Is he better than Ahmad? Is he better than Garnacho? Is he? You know, on a consistent level, guys. I mean, he's played for Man United for one season. Played for Bournemouth, for one season. On a consistent level, is he better than what we have already? And we need to look at that with all of our players. Are these players better than we have already? For example, Ederson comes in. Ederson will be the future. No, he's not. Casemiro. Casemiro is a legend. Casemiro, big up Casemiro, been called up to the Brazil national team. Big up. I hoped he didn't get called up to the national team. He's played enough football. I didn't want Casemiro in the national team, to be honest with you. But what I would say is that, Edison, people like that are going to improve the team, in my opinion. Like, for example, Frimpong. Frimpong going to Liverpool is going to improve Liverpool. Gutierrez going to Arsenal is going to definitely improve Arsenal. That's what we need. At the moment, we're looking at players and we're looking at, are they going to improve Man United? Is Liam Delap going to improve Man United significantly that we're going to jump up that league? Is Semenyo going to improve Man United? Is Callum Hudson-Odoi going to improve Man United? You know what I mean? It is all up in the air. And you know what? I wish Ruben Amorim the best of luck. And I hope that what I would do is go with what Ruben Amorim wants. That's what I would go with. Absolutely. That's what I would say. I agree, Jengus. More physically link up play, but I think we need better finishes in the front three. I agree. Turkey sandwich, if you know, you know. I used to love my turkey sandwiches. Absolutely. Not sure Turkey could come to United, gabbing the Bulls United fans. Chris, this is my opinion, my mate. This is my opinion, right? I like that about a player. I don't know about you, bro, but I like that about a player. I like a bit shithousery about a player. You know what I mean? I just feel like, I may be wrong, but I just feel like, some players are just too nice. We're too nice. Man United are too nice. Man United not scary anymore. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like, you know what? Look, as a person who knew people went to that game, the Man United crowd were giving him grief the whole game on that side of the ground, and he reacted. And some part of me thinks that sometimes you need that little bit of shithousery. Do you know what I mean? That bit. I mean, Leacher has it a little bit. We had it with Tevez. You do need it sometimes. It's a bit like Simeone, what he done, isn't it? At the end of the day, Ronaldo did it at Juve. He grabbed his cojones, didn't he? And in response to obviously Simeone. So it can work either ways. But I do think Man United need a little bit of naughtiness about them. They need that little bit. You know what I mean? We don't take shit, sort of thing. And I don't mind that about him. I really don't. And he's young. He's going to learn anyway. He will improve. Only thing is, in the Premier League, you might get a red card for that. How soft the Premier League these days. Big up, Chris, by the way. Good comment. Cunha and Turkey will be a dream 10. It'll be amazing. Yeah. Very technical. Cunha can create, cause problems and finish. I'm happy with that signing. Not for 70 million, I'm not rich. I don't think it's worth 70 million. Wolverhampton Wanderers to Man United for 70 million. That's too much money. That's an absolute robbery. That's robbery. That is, let's not forget he's a reject at Atletico Madrid. He was a reject there. He's playing for Wolverhampton Wanderers. The maximum price for Cunha should be 50 million. It shouldn't be 70 million. When people are trying to value our England internationals like Kobe Mainoo at 50 million, at the end of the day, I don't know. But would he improve Man United? Absolutely. I agree with that. Absolutely would improve Man United. In regards to the number 10 position, I think he will improve. But it'll be a little bit of bitter pill to swallow because obviously we bought these very expensive players in the past and it hasn't worked out, has it? So we need to be careful how much we spend and we need to be careful we're not bloody taken to the cleaners like we have because we got a whole team to build. Do you know what I mean? Big up, Rich. Don't do turkey sandwich. You got to taste turkey sandwich the night after. If you ever have a turkey, you have a turkey after the next day. The next day, have a turkey sandwich with mayonnaise. Lovely. Maybe Amorim thinks he can do Semenyo to shoot less. He's definitely a physical beast. Yeah. Good find from Bournemouth. Turkey 25 million feels really good value. I agree, Rich. That I agree with, brother. I agree with that, mate. I agree with Turkey. That's the thing why we can get Trincao and Turkey for around about the same price as Cunha. Work it. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Work it. You know what I mean? And but we're just going to go for Cunha at 70 million. And that just reminds me of Woodward and Murta days. You know what I mean? 70 million. I thought we weren't going over 60. Ahmed and Gatner should probably improve next season. I agree. Along with the new signings, we should look to have a good bench as well. one thing that concerned me, Rich, the other night, I don't know how you feel about it, but the other day, are we getting into realms of, at the moment, guys, and let's be real here, okay? This is no offense to any players. I don't want to offend any player. Are Ahmad and Garnacho impact players? Are they better as impact players? Because when I saw Ahmad come on against Athletic Bilbao, he changed the whole game. When I saw him start against West Ham, who were a lesser team, he was not seen. It's just a point. I mean, don't shoot the messenger. Absolutely. Jengas, Simon Jordan is a sausage and fouled at Palace. He fouled at everywhere he's been, mate. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, they don't understand. They don't read into what's going on at Man United. You know, they keep trying to justify debt at Man United. They keep trying to justify the Glazers at Man United. They don't really understand what they're bloody talking about. You know, we got Fulham owners talking about Man United. For goodness sake, we're Man United. Do you know what I mean? Ex-Fulham owners and things like that. You know, it's ridiculous. They put us in debt. That affects FFP and PSR already. You know, all the profits that are coming to Man United are going to service that debt. Not capital. Look, at the end of the day, not even paying off the, you know what I mean, anything. They're just paying off interest. They're not paying off the debt. Man United have got debt. They've taken 1 billion out of the football club. 1 billion. Could have built a bloody stadium. You know what I mean? It could have fixed Old Trafford. You know what I mean? And these people they're anti-United. I mean, I've come to the conclusion that they are anti-United. They're all anti-United, in my opinion. Triple M, I know, big up Triple M. Big up Kazi. CR7, go to Real Madrid and Glazer go for 0-3. CR7, go to Real Madrid and Glazer go for 0-3. Yeah. Yeah. Disgrace, wasn't it? I mean, Owen and Obertan. You know, we got one of the best players in the world, the best player in the world. In my opinion, he's the GOAT in Cristiano Ronaldo. And then we replaced him with Michael Owen and Gabriel Obertan. Didn't Valencia come that season as well? Valencia done well in considering, but it wasn't nowhere near levels. This is what I mean. It's not always about numbers. Do you know what I mean? But what I would say is that that was the time, right, where we began to see the Glazers' dirty laundry. That's when we started to see it. Because before that, we had Tevez and we had Rooney and we had Ronaldo. We didn't really think about it. We didn't want the Glazers. We fought against the Glazers. Some people went and made their own football club. But you know what? When it came to that time when we sold Cristiano Ronaldo, we were like, what's going on here? Who's that? Why are we buying Owen? You know what I mean? And it's because of, obviously, the structure at Man United, Sir Alex Ferguson's genius, that Man United carried on winning. But our football wasn't good. When Ronaldo left Manchester United, our football wasn't good. Our football was lacking. You know, and even in 2013, everyone would admit here, who witnessed 2013, we were poor. But we got results. You know, I remember a game against Southampton, we were 2-0 down. We ended up winning 3-2 because of Robin van Persie. This is the genius of Alex Ferguson. Signing Robin van Persie was an absolute masterstroke. And what that did represent, if we're going to bring it into today's game, is that how important it is to have an experienced striker, guys. How important is it? Robin van Persie basically won us the league in 2013. Ruben Amorim should try using two strikers to see if this could maybe help Rasmus Højlund with goals like Cole and York under Sir Alex, but not sure it would work when the forward. The problem with Cole and York, Courtney, it was a 4-4-2. The 4-4-2 had Ryan Giggs and David Beckham on both sides, so they fed the strikers. So basically, Dwight York would act as a false number 9. Andy Cole would be going forward. And Dwight York was that link between the midfield and the striker. Right now, we've had that similar. We've had Xerxes and we've had Rasmus Højlund. The problem is, guys, and let me tell you something about Andy Cole and Dwight York, right? Andy Cole and Dwight York, even if they didn't get the ball, they would make something happen for themselves. They would get that ball, chip the goalkeeper, overhead kick for 25 yards, as Andy Cole has done. Dwight York, getting in the right place at the right time, movement very good. They would always make something happen for themselves. No, I'm not saying it's all Rasmus' fault, but I would also bring into the equation that Rasmus has to make something happen for himself. He's 23 years old now. He's a grown-ass man, you know what I mean? And he does need to try it. Maybe a loan would be good for him, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. But Andy Cole and Dwight York were Next level. They were lucky as well. David Beckham, a lot of Dwight York's goals came from David Beckham. A lot of Andy Cole's goals came from David Beckham and Ryan Giggs. A lot of them, the wingers and the great thing about our wingers back then is that those wingers just wanted to create for the striker. They weren't selfish. They just wanted to create. And that was the good thing about that lineup. But Dwight York and Andy Cole were the best partnership of all time, in my opinion. And obviously Teddy Sheringham and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well. I mean, what quality? And this is the quality of Alex Ferguson. Alex Ferguson had Dwight York. You take out Dwight York, you bring in Sheringham. Very similar. You know what I mean? But again, look at Sheringham. Look how Sheringham scored goals. Look how Sheringham would, drift around the pitch. And then at the right time, he would score from 30 yards out of a volley or a chip or something like that. Do you know what I mean? And he would do something incredible. Rasmus doesn't do nothing incredible. I've been in League One football. I've worked in League One football, League One and League Two. And he just reminds me of a League One player. In fact, I've seen better strikers in League One. I'm sorry, but it's just how I feel at the moment in regards to what I've seen. And I wish Rasmus the best. And I wish Rasmus can play on Wednesday, which he probably will. And I hope that he can score a goal, you know what I mean, and make something of himself. I really do. Cengiz, Shah, 3 or 4 years is a long time in football. Yeah. Arsenal went too far regarding the signing of youth players. A few years later, City and United took the best ones off their hands. Absolutely. That's what can happen if you just sign young players. You can lose them too. Carrick was a baller at West Ham and United. It was a baller, Mark. But was he a Man United player? At that time, I was around. Not many people were saying that, no. And he played a different role for Man United as well. At West Ham and Tottenham, he was much more attacking player. But at Man United, he was that guy, that link man, and he was brilliant. There's no one as relaxed, as finesse with his passing as Carrick. Carrick's passing was crisp, you know what I mean? And just got that ball turn pass. Not even looking. And that was the great thing about Michael Carrick. But again, there were great players all around Europe. Michael Carrick, first choice. You know what I mean? It was a masterstroke from Alex Ferguson. That was a masterstroke. Irfan, the best played like CR7 Glazer for Owen for free. That was a Glazer-nomics signing, absolutely. Glazer-nomics all day long. Junior, yeah, one of the best decisions. Fax machine failure. Yeah. Chris, I like that. I like it too, but I was in the stand and it riled me. But I do get what you're saying. Oh, fair play to him. Fair play to you, Chris. At the end of the day, you know what? I would, if I was the manager of Man United and we signed Cherki, I would tell him to refrain from doing that. But you know what? It's shithousery, isn't it? It's part of the player, you know. And Rooney had it, but in a different way. He didn't do obviously dirty things like that. But if he does that, for example, and he gets sent off, you know what I mean, then obviously it's going to be a problem. Do you know what I mean? Because in the Premier League, you know what they're like, you know, especially with Man United. But fair play to him. But you know what? He lost in the end, you know, and maybe he won't do that again. You know what I mean? Yeah, at the end of the day, because he thought he'd probably win that game. I don't think we're going to sign Cherki anyway, to be honest. I would like Cherki. I like him. Only 25 million, but I don't think he's going to go to Man United in my humblest of opinions. Big up, Chris. I never get the Glazer CR7 for Owen for free. That is Glazer-nomics. We do, Chris. I think we've always had bastards. We've had Roy Keane. Obviously, I even think the likes of Steve Bruce were that as well. You know, I think the likes of Tevez was that. Rooney was that. Giggs to an extent. Scholes to an extent was that. You know, Schmeichel was that. You know, Cantona was that. Nowadays, we got too many nice players, in my opinion. Just too nice. We're too nice. We're probably one of the nicest teams in the league. You know what I mean? Come to Old Trafford, Fred the Red, teddy bear walking around, My Little Pony, the Care Bears, lovely, not intimidating at all. Man United need to be more intimidating. Man United need to be scary. That's what Man United need to be. When I was growing up watching Man United, 40 years now, Old Trafford is one of our saving graces. It was always intimidating. Even when we didn't have a stand on the Stretford end, even when we didn't have a stand on the North Stand, it wasn't there. You know, even when that wasn't there, we were intimidating. You know what I mean? And And I just hope we can we get back to that level again. I really do, because Old Trafford's a big part of us, and shame we're going to be leaving now. I do not like a player who is soft. We want a player who can give a shit about anything. Big up Ephraim. A positive on Cherky. Leon went down to 10 men. Cherky stepped up. That's what I like. That's what I look at. He stepped up to the fore. Weren't scared. Buried one in the corner. Another bad positioning, but anyway, it's another story. But buried one in the corner, and you know what I mean? That's what we want. That's what we need. Mark, do you know about Jamie Gittins? How do you rate him? Jamie Gittins of Dortmund. Man United have been linked with Jamie Gittins, of course, English player playing for Dortmund. Good, but gives me Sancho vibes. I'll be totally honest, Mark. Gives me Sancho vibes. We haven't been lucky with players from Dortmund. Obviously, we look at Kakawa. Obviously, we look at Mkhitaryan as well. You know what I mean? Which were not successful players. Sancho coming from obviously Borussia Dortmund as well, not successful. I'm a little bit wary now, in other words, about signing Borussia Dortmund players. Yeah. Goals to George, good morning. Manchester United live and die by their signings. Cherky gives me Neil Maupay vibes. He was all right, Neil Maupay, to be honest, at some point. But no, he's better than Neil Maupay. Amram is big attitude. I trust talent. Absolutely. Absolutely. Cunha, he's a top attackers. Big up, everyone. Sure, I agree, Sal. Ahmed and Garnacho are impact players, but we don't have much better. That's why, yeah. I agree. I agree with that. We don't have much choice, so we have to play them. But I do believe that at the moment, they're impact players. Ahmed Garnacho, Dorga, and Mainu is in an ideal world. Don't start every game. I think absolutely, Rich, and you know, isn't it? These players needed to be nurtured into the team. Even to some extent, Rasmus Højlund needed to be nurtured into the team. Unfortunately, because of the position that we're in, we put the pressure on those players so soon. And obviously, that can have an adverse effect. The likes of Beckham, Scholes, Gary Neville, Philip Neville, Ryan Giggs and stuff were nurtured into the team. Even CR7 was nurtured into the team, brought into the team, taken out of the team and stuff like that. I feel like we put too much pressure too soon on these players. And I think that hampers development. At the moment, I don't think he's a starter for me. I think we can do better in Europe at the moment. We shouldn't have got Ribery around that time to replace Ronaldo. And look at the West Ham game. If you can't show up against West Ham, who are you going to show up against? I think we were linked with him at the time. Ribery, yeah. I miss out. I mean, Ribery was brilliant. Ribery was a very good player. I mean, we missed out on basically. I don't trust any manager talent. I don't until after recruitment. Amram must avoid any signings costing more than 30 million. What you need to understand, Goals for George, is that Amram's not going to be picking the signings. Our conveyor belt of people, Wilcox, Barada, Vivel, Brailsford are going to be picking the signings, Goals for George. It's not just down to him. And I'll give you an example. In the summer, Dorgu was wanted by Man United before Ruben Amram came in. That was when Erik ten Hag was manager. Now, look at my streams. I'm talking about Dorgu going to Man United. He's wanted by Ineos. Ineos signed him. That's the thing. Ineos are going to look at these players. A lot of these players. The seal of approval. Of course. Do you start Mazraoui at defence or at right back? Centre back. I don't think he's a right back. Ephraim definitely at right centre back. Absolutely. Cole and Sheringham didn't really look eye to eye, but played on the pitch. Absolutely. It doesn't matter if they get on. Cole and Sheringham hated each other. Yeah. Any advanced talks, Kenny? But let me tell you this. Don't be surprised if Man United sign Cunha after the Europa League final. If Man United lose Europa League final, what better way to add positivity into the fan base than to sign Cunha? You know what I mean? And make everyone happy again. It's ridiculous, I know. Absolutely. They're doing it strategically. They're doing a strategic plan. If the recruitment is right, how many years will it take to get to the top? Not long, if it's right. Under Ruben Amram, it's not going to take long. Man United, bigger fan. The only player I would take from Dortmund there first is a goalkeeper. I agree with that one. Need to get signing mentality monsters as the jersey weighs heavy on these players. Absolutely, Dean, is a good point. The jersey weighs heavy. And people don't quite understand what that means. They think you just sign a player and he's going to play like he played at the other club and that's it. That's what they do. They don't understand how heavy the Manchester United jersey is. It's ridiculous. From social media, I felt United are the underdogs. Spurs fans are very much confident in the team. Let them be confident. Let us be the underdogs. I'm happy with that. Absolutely. I'm very happy with that. Kings, were we underdogs? And I don't mind. I don't mind being an underdog. Absolutely not. Courtney, I would like for the owners to look at a talent from Asia as we get very decent players from there with top mentality. Look how Celtic are thriving with those players. Ji-Son Park, that sort of player, of course, but it does go wrong. Obviously, Dong, those guys. But yeah, they do. Japanese players are up and coming. Japan are up and coming in regards to football. Very good. Get into latter stages of World Cups and stuff at the end of the day. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I will be back later on for the match preview between Man United and Chelsea, where I'll be giving my lineup and my prediction for the game. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn, guys. And remember this.
Do you know Tottenham?
What?
Tottenham Hotspur?
Topspur?
No.
What's that?
You never heard of them?
No?
There you go, guys. Have a good one. See you later. Peace.